Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more AskReddit content. Comment on this video so I can read your comments next time. One of my high school teachers was the older sister of a Playboy playmate. Older sister was the better looking one. Most of the boys had trouble walking upright around her. I was in basic training with a guy that was picked up in Texas by the bang bus. We thought he was lying until he linked the video. He went full nightcrawler mode on the girl and they kicked him off the bus. Nothing to be proud of, but he did get his limp sausage fondled and sucked by a P-star. No way. That reminds me that Vitaly TV did the same thing. Working at a restaurant, and one night the owner's son, 15 years, comes running to the chef and I saying, "You guys gotta see this." We finally go and see on the office computer he has found our previous front of house manager on the internet, and she's on the home page as MILF of the month on this hardcore MILF site. She had tattoos that made the identification easy.
What is the weirdest fetish and so had that you just went with because they were hot? My ex used to have me come in her before she would go out in public because she said she me marking my territory. IDK was weird, but I wasn't complaining. Posted about this before, but one girl wanted to blow me while I criticized her and called her racial slurs. That was weird. Another girl wanted me to slap her in the face. That was also weird, but kinda fun once I got used to it. I've spanked plenty of women during sex, but this one girl, she was a real sub. Now, I had never been with a real sub before. Not my kink, but whatever. Damn, she couldn't orgasm without being spanked hard, like uncomfortably hard. Plus she liked being slapped and thrown around the room. Choked. She was a weird chick. Super cute. Edit. Holy hell. Edit. Also Natal subs. Edit. Till I had sex with a masochist. He liked screaming. Like hentai level Kaya during orgasm it, but more like screaming. I don't know how to describe it. It was a little weird, but it made for some kinky, intense sex. So I went with it. Oddly, I felt comfortable enough around him to do it without feeling awkward, and I just made the most out of it. Found the enjoyment out of it. But now that we are broken up, would I do it again? No. Lol. Edit. Apparently I have typed this in a way that has everyone reading it hilariously wrong, and I'm not even mad. I'm a dude who knows a dude, roommate at the time, who got pedicures because his girl wanted his toes inside of her. First and only time I'd ever heard of a female having a foot fetish. Pretty odd if you ask me, but she seemed to be a cool chick. I'd have done it too. Edit. I know this is a valid account because we were all friends and there were plenty of drunken jokes about it and a few serious conversations. She was always confident about her fetish and referenced it at times, but he had some issues with it and would confide in me in accordance with Bro Code Article 8 Section 42A. My friend told me her so would buy a bunch of live beetles and grubs and have her squish them with her bare feet while he pleasured himself. Edit. I actually am surprised more people aren't familiar with this. When my friend told me about it, she said that it's a really common fetish, though she may have just been trying to rationalize the crazy it that she did. I never had any interest to do any research, as seeing bugs animals squished isn't something I'd go out of my way to see. I believe this is my second highest rated comment, and it's about my poor friend squishing bugs with her feet. Edit 2. Holy cow. By far my highest rated comment. It's been over a decade since she confided in me with this. She is now in a healthy relationship and has a young child. I'm happy that she got her it together and left this creep. I hadn't thought about this story in years, but the title of this post reminded me of it cause it's the weirdest thing I've heard of someone doing for love. I don't ever plan to bring up this memory with her again. It's ducked up. But at least it didn't progress to puppies or kittens, as far as I know. A story from my friend. That sounds fishy, but I swear this wasn't me. Beakisless virgin in college, UK. Sister's friend is in college 1 year above. Cute petite and instantly recognizes me. She runs over and gives me a big hug. After 1 week of being there, made me uncomfortable, but getting a hug from her gave me some interest from other girls in class. Wondering why some pretty decent looking girl was coming up to me. 2 girls in my class later commented on how I'm lucky to have a second year girlfriend. They must have had me confused. No, we all saw it. Want to admit what happened. But Get the idea of milking it and maybe trying to get more female attention. Next time I see her in library, same thing happens. Only I was sat down and she sits on my lap. This time hugging me and kissing my cheek. Remember thinking, wow, this is going to be a lot easier than I thought to make people think we are actually dating. She starts talking about how big I have got and mentions a memory I don't really remember about when we were kids. Says I've gotten really cute. Makes me smile, start to realize what I'm actually doing. Duck, the other girls might as well actually hit it off with this girl. Say that she is looking amazing too. She giggles and puts her hand pretty much on my D. Oh duck. Ask for her number about 10 seconds after that. Because I have no idea how to flirt but have an erection that is now talking for me. She giggles and puts it in my phone for me. Says she expects more than a call. Literally message her for the next couple days. Agree to duck. Finally thinking, OHH, damn, this is going to be sweet. Noticed she starts talking about my sister a lot more when we are flirting. Turns me off a little, but she's so damn hot I just agree to half the it she says whilst taking her skirt off. Tells me to slow down and that she wants to try something crazy. Wow. Okay, I mean 6 is crazy for me, but I'm not the one with experience, so whatever she wants. Tells me she wants me to wear something of hers. Alright. Proceeds to dress me up as a girl. And tells me to duck her with it on. Duck her a couple times. Really good, can hear her moan. She starts to say my sister's name. What the duck? Nut on her and she says she loved it. Think I must have heard things and start to take off her bra. Don't really feel comfortable in it. She says she wants to only duck me with it on. We do this a few times, each time starts to get weirder to the point where she says, can you duck me, but only grunt like a girl. Okay. After about 3 more shags, she wants me to put tissue in the bra so it looks like I have boobs and to answer to my sister's name. At this stage I realized she had a thing for my sister and asked her about it. She went all shy and said if you can bring over some of her clothes you could stop the night and we could duck all night. Literally brought an entire wash basket full of my sister's clothing, both dirty and clean, and she wanted to duck over it so my cum and her cum would be all over it. Couldn't, was honestly starting to worry me. Was the first time in my life I didn't want to shag a girl. Went into the bathroom to be sick after realizing how ducked up I'd been, staying there 10 minutes, get out of all this girl's clothing and get back into my boxers and shirt, duck pretending to be a chick. Come out. See her masturbating in the pile, about 5 panties strapped around her head, 2 soiled in her hands and like only wearing my sister's clothes. Don't really know what to do and just ask her to bring them to college tomorrow so I can try and return them without anyone finding out. Don't see her ever again. She left college. Spoke to my sister about her. My sister said she was ducking nuts and couldn't believe she was still around. Apparently she did this once when she came to our house once when they were 15 and wanted to have a 6 with my sister. Didn't admit to her what happened and just said she was paying me to get her some of your clothing. She asked me how much. Just said a couple hundred. My sister wanted half so she could get new stuff. Literally gave her more than 200 just to forget about it and to somewhat fix things. Girls at college started really liking me but told them I'm not ready for a relationship yet. TLDR. Sister's friend ducked me dressed as my sister and proceeded to get weirder and weirder. After reading the answers on this thread, I believe that my so is very vanilla. I dated a girl. She had this weird fetish where she'd dress like herself and act like a rich all the time. She wanted me to pee on her, like on her face, with her mouth open. I did it a couple of times. I'm not too proud of that moment. My so's fetish was denying our relationship in public and avoiding being seen together as much as possible because I wasn't in her league, but she still liked me. But just feared what people would say. Sexy fetish, isn't it? Not a so. But during sex, a Tinder hookup once asked me to spit in her mouth. I thought what the hell, but didn't really get it right and out of it missed her mouth and got on her face. She shouted EWW, not my face, and was completely disgusted. I don't really understand where her line was. Not that uncommon. But had a girlfriend who liked to play keep away. She'd ask me to have a 6 with her while she struggled to get away. If she said no or stop I would. But she'd make non-verbal unhappy vocalizations the whole time. Made me really uncomfortable, but she was really hot. And sometimes she'd be very aggressive, never ask me to resist. Though. My ex ruined vanilla girls for me. She liked to get slapped. And would slap back. She liked to be choked until passed out. And instructed that I keep going. The feeling of a knife blade on her skin really got her off. And she told me once that back in Israel while she dated a soldier, they wrapped the end of his rifle in saran wrap. And he ducked her with it. That last one intimidated me for a while. She wanted to reach around and hold my D while I peed. My very lesbian girlfriend was oddly into threesomes with men. At least I actually learned something about myself from it. Dated a guy who liked to wait until I was just about there. Then he'd bite my bean. Hard. Like. Drew blood once. Hard. Most intense orgasms ever. Her fetish or what she was into was fulfilling whatever the thing I was into that day. Seriously, I would just be coming UPL with new stuff and it was always a let's go. I tried to unlock her weird side. But really she just ventured quite deep. I miss that. An ex-GF of mine, who looked a little like Emily Browning, had a fetish for watching men fight. She expressed a desire to see me fight another man shirtless, which was strange. As far as I know, she's the only girl with that fetish. To this day she posts about UFC on Twitter. Friends FWB had an extremely specific raceplay femdom fetish. He'd ask her to memorize little dirty talk lines referencing country names of Japan-occupied territories and events in the war. This dildo-centric matriarchal alternate history had extremely intricate lore that he made all by himself. He even had a Japanese English conlang made up. 2 years later and I am still stunned. She loved pain and being physically hurt. It started with pinching, biting, gentle stuff that made us interesting. Then it escalated to hair pulling and slaps. More and more off over time. She wanted and asked for much more, straight punches and kicks, but never felt okay with going that far. If I didn't agree to hurt her, she would often do it herself. And I must say it's quite the show when your girlfriend slaps the it out of her own face repeatedly, while screaming that's how you should treat me dart. One time she bit herself so hard we had to go to the ER. She was aroused the whole time, while the nurse and I were horrified. Fun times. But she was insanely hot. Sex with her was incredible. And I'm that shallow. So it went on for a while. I broke up with her the day she got emotional and aggressive when I refused to slap her in a crowded supermarket. We remained kind of friends. Last time I talked to her she pulled one of her nails off in front of her Tinder date. So there's at least one guy out there traumatized by her way more than I am. Biting, blood drinking. Basically dated a vampire. We'd been going out for a few months when one night, he asked if he called me a different name. Like role playing. Then he started shouting out his cousin's name as he climaxed. So awkward. I hooked up with a girl in the back of my SUV at a bar and she started yelling truffle butter me. Truffle butter me. I did and my friends won't let me forget it and tell new people I meet immediately. I'm a virgin college student and I do not belong here. I always thought if it's a thing that people do, I've probably heard about it in porn, but after looking through these comments I now know I was horribly wrong. I found out shortly before I broke up with a college girlfriend that she had a fetish for my race, and was imagining scenarios in which I was a slave and she was the master's wife. I'm a light-skinned black man. She rationalized it by saying, well, you were in the house in my head. This was a level of crazy that I'm not prepared to deal with. Met a girl with a perfectly tattooed pinwheel lollipop right in her armpit. As we're making out and things are getting hot, she says, if you lick the lollipop I'll rock your ducking world. Hesitated for a sec, then said duck it and went for it. Might as well have been eating her out because she absolutely loved it. Then rode me harder and better than any woman ever has. So back on World Cup 2014. I've met this American girl. I was 18 and she was 30. We went to the hotel she was staying. Things started to get hot and she said, if we're going to do this you'll have to. At that moment I started to think she was going to end up with grab your condom, only to get brick surprised in the face by her saying, pretend you are my son. And I'm your mom. Not your step one though. Since we were already on it, I thought, well, no turning back now, went on anyway. No regrets. farting on my face, and holding in the farts. Not having sex and just being a hateful monster. My ex peed on me in the shower regularly. It pissed me off to no end. Pun intended. Reddit sure is a diverse group. Half of these are my girlfriend likes to be lightly spanked. Gosh, she's such a freak, and the other half is eating in buckets. Role playing. She likes to tell people that she doesn't know me and that I should stop stalking her, and even got a guy to dress up as a cop and give me a fake restraining order. It's hot as duck. Dated a girl with a rape impregnation fetish. Specifically wanted sex to start as consensual. Then built a climax wherein she asked me to pause apply protection. At which point I should refuse to do so and physically restrain her long enough to come inside her amid her protests that she would get pregnant. That's not so problematic until you consider the fact that I had to implicitly trust her claim that she was on the pill in the midst of what was clearly an obsession with pregnancy. Eventually this progressed to a roleplay narrative that she was pregnant and I would harm the baby with force or foul sex. That was the point where the discomfort exceeded the hotness. Had a girlfriend that had abuse fantasies once. I wasn't attracted to it but figured I'd try it for her. Made a proper agreement beforehand with Safia, and lots of reassurance from her. Did the deed. Didn't enjoy it. After I had finished she was crying. Calling me an asshole. And then gave me the silent treatment for the rest of the night. I felt like it. In the morning she was perfectly fine and happy, and when asked, told me everything was cool regarding the night before. So I asked her why then had she been crying etc. She told me that was all a part of the roleplay. I knew at that moment that I was unwilling to go into that fantasy again. For me the whole thing was ugly and horrible from start to finish. Tossed my salad. I've never had anyone go for my cornhole like she did. But man alive, did she look like an artist at work. I mean, this girl really went to town. Absolutely incredible.